Helix turn through you.
What's up? What's up? So we're back in here with the Brain Freeze Flak. We have the Brainstormer as our main gun, and we have that added crowd damage, which just helps out amazingly well while you're terrified. And plus we're blue. Blue's my favorite color, by the way. I don't know if I told y'all. I probably don't care. But anyway, yeah, Brainstormer. We got the crowd damage on top of it, which allows us to freeze the enemies, tap them up, gets through armor pretty well, and then the shock and the different bolts from this are just jumping around, doing a good amount of damage, as well as getting our cooldown back for our action skills very, very, very fast. It is a beautiful setup. We were basically a lump channel for the past 2 weeks. I can't even lie to you. So this was a good change of pace. I had to go through all the guns that I possibly could, and this is really good. This is actually really, really good. And so I went ahead and added this to the file for you guys for the PC. And so you guys will be able to play around with this as well. Because this is basically the only thing that you really do need. The Scourge does a lot of damage as well. Can just eat up bosses. Of course, the Corrosive one works better when you are fighting the robots and whatnot with the armor. But I just want to try out the cryo as well. So basically, the setup is just a Megavore setup. You're able to do a ton of damage with your Brainstorm, get your crisp back, and breeze through whatever you need to breeze through. And we're Gamma Burst in this setup. You can play it as Fade Away as well, and it works out super duper well also. Lump works well inside the setup. Lump, of course, does more damage. It's not as good as getting your cooldown back instantly when you are outside of Gamma or outside of Fade Away, but it does way, way more damage. You guys are probably familiar with the Lump already. So to get yourself a Brainstormer, you can get yourself a Lump if you do want to, and then Scourge for the little bossing. And then you have a free slot. Technically you have 2 free slots because you could just run around with these 2 right here. So for our shield, we're rocking the Health Regeneration. You can wear a Stopgap, you can wear a Transformer, anything that you do like. I went with the Stopgap because of the extra immunity, and that Health Regeneration is just going to help your pet stay alive a bit longer, as well as help you stay alive a bit longer. The thing is, if they do end up nuking you down and blowing past your shield, and somehow you're not able to kill a few targets and get your get your shield regeneration kicking back in, you'll be able to get your health regeneration coming through while terrified, and it'll just heal through everything. And so it's kind of a combo of my combo of 3 builds. It's kind of a combo of my little Blizzard setup, which was a off-tank cryo from way back, combination of one of my Gamma setups, and as well as a combination of something else that I don't remember right now, but that's gonna take too long to remember because my brain is dead. Anyway, so we're rocking this right here for the health regeneration, puts you in a really, really good spot, as well as helps out pretty well in co-op, because you're going to be able to heal a whole bunch of people. Your pet's going to be tanking very, very well with the Red Fang as well. You can see right here, we're rocking a pretty decent little Red Fang. The added damage helps out a little bit. You can look into shotgun type modifiers, would help out quite a bit, as well as damage reduction helps out a little bit as well. This is a pretty decent one. Not too bad. Of course, we would lean on the side of having more Eager to Impress to play around with. It's not mandatory at all because we're getting our cooldown back very, very fast. Or the 1.2 Heat Bites does help out a whole lot inside the setup. So that's the one thing that you do look for. And then you can have whatever else you want on the rolls for the class mod. Right here, we're rocking the Murphtacular Hex. You can rock this. Just rock any good grenade with Terra application. The radiation is going to allow us to get a little bit more splash damage coming through, as well as these procs of the Murphtacular Hex are going to allow us to get like Leave No Trace procs coming through, which is going to help out with our ammo a little bit. And one little trick that I actually do, you can press F into like an open spot, basically wherever your Gamma Burst can't go. And you'll be able to get your Terra back, or get your Terra up to full. And then after that, you can use your Gamma Burst normally, because your cooldown is reset automatically. and you'll be good to go. And you can just run through whatever you want to run through. It does a ton of work. And our Gamma Burst is on a super low cooldown due to the Megavore Brainstormer procs, as well as we're not going into duration for our skill tree. Last thing that we're rocking for our items is the Icebreaker Auto Idol. This is going to allow us to sustain a little bit better. Also has added damage when you are freezing up the enemy, which helps out quite a bit. Magazine size isn't really that huge. The shock damage isn't really that huge either. We do have shock damage inside the build, so this helps out a little bit. Action skill cooldown rate is going to help out a little when you are not able to get a whole lot of shots off and get your cooldown back immediately. So for this area, I would look for anything from like damage reduction would help out a little bit, would be cool. Some damage rolls for like Hyperion or whatever main gun that you do want to run inside the setup. You can also run like Maggies and all the good stuff as well inside of this setup, and it works out pretty well. Brainstormer is going to be one of the better things though to get you your cooldowns back. So let's hop right into the skills. So I actually haven't done a Gamma Burst setup in like a month or so. So I'm covering like some of the things, some of the key choices, and some of like the key interactions that you do need inside a Gamma Burst to make sure it is maxed out a bit. This is just a normal little red tree. We're just getting as much damage as we can with Interplanetary Stalker. Leave No Trace is just going to help us out with the ammo. Head count, that's going to give us back our cooldown using the Brainstormer. Two Fang, extra projectile, helps out with all of this stuff above. Extra damage basically, and extra duration of the hunter skills. Extra damage, flat out. This is going to make sure you're not targeted as much. A little bit extra damage, and that extra skill damage is going to help out with our Gamma Burst since we are using it basically on cooldown and pretty offensively. We're just chunking it into the enemies. And then Megavore coordinates well with everything inside the setup to go ahead and get our cooldowns back, boost up our damage, and all the good stuff. So you can rock a full Megavore tree as well as a full fadeaway setup, and you'll be able to do a ton of work also with the Brainstormer, and you play around with that. You can mess around with the Brainstormer now. It's kind of it's a baby lump. I'll call it a baby lump. So right here we put the 5 points into Server Painter System. That's so we can get like max HP and max HP regeneration. Keeps us and the pet healthy. This is just the points from the class line right here. Not really important at all, to be honest. And then we have the 3 points into All My BFS. This is going to keep our pet pretty healthy. It's going to have 100% of our regeneration. It's also going to help out our amigos that we're playing with inside of like co-op environments. If we are going to run the raid with this setup, it's pretty good. Really good. You can also put some points into Furious Attack instead of Self-Repairing System. I don't think I really need all these points into here because I was able to just breeze through this Slaughter Shaft right here. Not Slaughter Shaft, Slaughter Star. This is the same one that I was running. I had to leave the area and come back. This is 40% extra damage, extra projectile per shot, and just able to eat through that thing very smoothly. So you can play around and probably pump up a little bit more damage, but this is such a marginal amount of damage that it doesn't really matter too much. And then this is where it gets a little interesting. So here is our master tree. You can see that I don't have any points to Persistence Hunter. I have 0 points into Persistence Hunter at all. So this is probably the one thing that's pretty weird. This tree is a little weird anyway. It's optimized though, but this is one of the things that's a little weird. We're not increasing our action skill duration because we want our Gamma Burst to be on as low of a cooldown as possible. So we can just throw this thing out and we can maintain terror very easily, as well as we're able to reposition our pet and reapply that taunt every like 20 seconds or so. It is very good just to be able to throw out your pet. You're losing out on a little bit of damage, but you are able to maintain your terror very easily without it being a hassle at all. I never felt like it was a hassle. Yikes. Just like I didn't feel like that word was about to be a hassle, but that was a real hassle. I don't know what that was. But anyway, I don't feel like it was a hassle to play around this build. Like some builds, I try to stay away from things that you have to micromanage extremely hard. That just makes the build feel clunky. I felt pretty good with this setup right here. You might be able to put like 1 point into Persistence Hunter without it hindering anything too much, but I enjoyed rocking it without the Persistence Hunter. I'll lose out on that little bit of damage. Our other choices are basically more pet damage or have the additional crit. This doesn't really give you too much more damage at all, and it's also just for the melee attack. This is pretty irrelevant, to be honest. It's not really a great skill. So we just put into the pet damage. That's going to help out with the damage that the Reflect does from Heat Bites, as well as damage inside of the Atomic Aroma, which is pretty cool. We bumped up Who Rescued Who. This is so we can get a whole bunch of health regeneration for us, as well as helps out our pet even more. As long as we're doing damage, we'll be able to keep our pet alive very, very easily, and then just run through everything. This health regeneration is applying to our self as well as our pet again, because we have 3 points into all my BFS. So very easy, great setup using this. And the pet doing damage is applied by the Heat Bites, which means that we're getting the health regeneration 99% of the time. And then also for Frenzy, the pet damage is also applied by the Reflect damage right here. So you're able to get 5 stacks of Frenzy very, very easily. And due to it being a AoE taunt, that's going to allow us to have Heat Bites coming in, Heat Bites procs coming in very, very fast. So that way we can get our Frenzy procced up to max very, very fast. And this is also boosted by Big Game Hunter, since it is a hunter skill. So we're getting a little bit more of a bonus from Frenzy as well. And this just puts us in a monstrous position. We don't go into Psycho Head on a stick because it doesn't give us that much value for that 1 point. The 13% extra damage isn't really anything great. The extra movement speed wouldn't really do too much for us either, because the enemies are coming over to our pet because we are taunting. And then the Hive Mind, our pet is doing 99% of the tanking, so we don't really need that. Nor did I really lose much HP in general, so we have everything covered. You can run the Great Horn Skag if you do want to. It's 5% more damage. I went ahead and ran with the Spider-Man Scorcher. Spider-Man Scorcher is a bit tankier, and it also has more health regeneration added into the kit. And that puts you in a very, very beautiful spot just to eat through whatever you need to eat through. So that's the build. That is Brain Freeze Flak. I like it a lot. I actually like the setup a lot. Once again, I'm going to go ahead and put this inside of the file for you guys, and I'll have some things organized over the next coming days. That way everything's not stuck on one character, because you guys are getting the whole inventory for these past 3 characters inside of one file at the moment, which isn't bad at all, because you guys can play around with it, pick what you want. But it's going to get to a point, if I continue down this road, where the inventory is going to hit like 30 something, and it might get a little clunky. So I'm going to fix that up, make sure everything is nice and smooth, everything is good to go. And yeah, fun build. And let me know what you guys think about this build setup inside the comments below. Play around with it. Let me know how this joint feels. And that's basically it for your boy. I added a little bit more gameplay to the back end of this, so that way you can see how this thing plays out a little bit more. And we rocking, baby. Brain Freeze Flak.
Let them hear you already. on your reign. Takes all. No, stay alive. A handy trick. Weak. All of you are weak. Make me proud. Again, on the hunt.
It's a boss fight!
Let the hunt take you. My beast is dying! I want to see what you're... I've got you